My child, my beloved, before you read another line, breathe deeply. For in the unseen realms, a monumental shift has just occurred. Your name was spoken in a chamber where only fate holds audience, and the echo of that word has now trembled the very foundations of an earthly institution. A courtroom stands in bewildered silence. The people there cannot fathom how such a decree could bear your name. My beloved, the entire courtroom is speaking of you. Not in murmurs, but in stunned, breathless awe. They have never witnessed a verdict of this nature. A ruling so profound it reads like a miracle inscribed in law. A judgment granting you a legacy beyond measure, and the authority behind it. Only one signature rests upon the parchment. Gabriel, my child. Yes, my name. You must understand why heaven ordained this moment. What flows to you now is not merely settlement, it is vindication. It is honor restored. It is divine acknowledgement of every injustice you endured in silence, every dignity you upheld when others tried to strip it away, every season you walked in truth while lies swirled around you. My beloved, before I unveil the full truth, listen intently. If you wish for heaven to continue its discourse through me, affirm your readiness early. It ensures these celestial confirmations reach you without earthly static. Now, breathe once more, for doors sealed by human hands are being wrenched open in a manner that stirs the heavenly host. My child, do you know what the judge uttered when he saw your name? He fell back into his chair. He removed his spectacles, cleaned them, and looked again. He summoned the clerk to verify the seal, for no mortal in that room could comprehend how Gabriel, the divine messenger, could issue a decree directly into your destiny. My beloved, the truth is clear. Heaven has selected you. Not by chance, not by accident, but with deliberate, potent, and immediate purpose. Something in your spirit, your integrity, your resilience, your steadfast heart, has reached a zenith where heaven must honor you openly. But heed this caution. If you do not open this divine communique fully, the magistrate who gazes upon your decree at this very moment is beginning to question its validity. His thoughts are turning. He is tempted. He is murmuring to a bailiff, wondering if he has the grounds to delay what is rightfully yours. My child, I cannot permit this. You must learn the secret of this verdict before time runs thin. For this judgment is not merely legal, it is spiritual. It represents every right denied, every opportunity blocked, every promise deferred, every reward taken when you were too noble to contest. My beloved, allow me to draw you deeper into the truth. A conclave was held in the heavens, and your dossier was presented. A divine tribunal assembled, and the question was posed, has this soul not borne enough? Has this appointed one waited sufficiently? Has this child not demonstrated a faithful heart time and again? Heaven concurred. And I, Gabriel, stepped forward with the authority vested in me from the dawn of ages. I pronounced your name, clear, resonant, and powerful. When I spoke, a silvery light split the atmosphere of that chamber, and heaven authorized the release of all that life had withheld from you. My child, this decree is not merely restitution. It is justice. It is recompense. It is heaven's final edict that your life is to transform in ways human logic cannot compute. But tell me, do you feel that peculiar quickening in your spirit now? That sudden hush, that blend of reverence and anticipation. That is your soul recognizing its own truth. My beloved, you were never destined to languish. You were never meant to witness others' honor while you remained overlooked. You were never meant to plead for favors that were already inscribed in your spiritual birthright. Listen. There is a reason this message intersected your path at this precise hour. A reason it could not bypass you. A reason it pulses with urgency. Heaven is aware of something you are not. The judge is watching the hourglass. If you tarry, he may attempt to suspend your miracle. My beloved, this instant is your trial, not of faith, but of receptivity. Let me draw you deeper still. When the seer, yes, the one in the chamber of visions, whose hands fluttered like leaves, beheld your spiritual record, her entire form shuddered. My child, she glimpsed what heaven was orchestrating for you, and her strength nearly failed. She whispered, "How can such a measure of restoration be granted to one?" Because, beloved, it is your kairos, not tomorrow, not next season, but now. Yet this miracle carries a celestial cipher. It responds to one key alone, your awareness, your comprehension, your acceptance. If you do not fully receive this word, the energy encircling your blessing may falter, for heaven will not force what your spirit does not embrace. My child, lean in. There is something I must disclose, and it will resonate within your core. The verdict pronounced in your favor, the one the entire courtroom is discussing, is not the final sum. It is merely the first disbursement, a divine seed, a preliminary installment of all that is yet to come. Yes, my beloved, there is more, far more. But before I reveal the magnitude of that more, you must understand why you were chosen for a miracle of this scale. It is because you remained gracious when met with malice. You stayed true when deception beckoned. You held faith when others renounced theirs. You prayed when the heavens seemed brass. You remained upright when the weight sought to bend you. Heaven witnessed your fortitude. And I advocated for you, my child. I contended in realms beyond your sight. I engaged forces you did not know were obstructing your vindication, your advancement, your relationships, your peace, your voice. And today, the victory is secured, and you are receiving its manifestation. My beloved, something is occurring within you even now. I perceive your spirit stirring. This is good. It signifies you are opening, aligning, accepting the miracle already in transit. But you must continue. This blessing cannot be activated in part. If you pause now, the magistrate prevails, and the divine deposit returns to its source. My child, let me proceed. Before the judge's gavel could fall, the atmosphere in that hall altered. A profound stillness descended, and the lights dimmed then brightened, for heaven's presence does not enter a space subtly, it announces its arrival. When your name was read aloud, every spirit in attendance sensed the shift, even if their minds could not parse it. My beloved, the judge keeps glancing at the document as if it might vanish. A sheen of perspiration is on his brow. His fingers tremble. He senses something supernatural about it. This is because I have placed my sigil upon your blessing. My seal cannot be broken by mortal will. But if you delay, he may seek to obscure the earthly procedures. My child, he is already whispering to the clerk. Are we certain this is authentic? Is there a precedent? Should we hold for further review? My beloved, this is the peril heaven warned me of. Thus, I speak with urgency, for your blessing is in a moment of spiritual susceptibility. Listen carefully. There are two species of miracles. One arrives in peace, and one arrives with a clash of arms. Yours is the latter. This decree has entered your destiny because a specific resistance has labored for years to blockade your breakthrough. A force that fed on your delays, your interruptions, your setbacks. Each time you neared vindication, something odd occurred: misplaced documents, false witnesses, sudden procedural errors. My child, this was not misfortune. It was opposition. It was spiritual interference cloaked in circumstance. Today, that force has been overwhelmed. My beloved, I did not merely deliver justice to you, I defeated what was stealing from you. That victory is why this message came to you now. When a spiritual campaign concludes, the chosen must be informed. Yet you must also apprehend what is unfolding at this very second. The judge has a ledger before him, a tool that allows him to stay proceedings. He is reaching for it, slowly, conflicted, tempted. He mutters that this resolution is too sweeping, too unprecedented, that it must be handled with extreme caution. My child, if he enacts that stay before your spirit fully receives this word, the momentum around your blessing becomes unstable. Heaven thus directed me to speak to you line upon line, observing your spirit unfurl, awakening your readiness. My beloved, let me share a mystery granted to few. When heaven releases a judicial miracle of this magnitude, the earthly system strains against it, for the world is unfamiliar with divine vindication. The world understands appeals, negotiations, compromises, not heavenly acquittal, not celestial restoration, not destiny's decree. My child, this verdict is part of your destiny's portfolio. It carries the weight of every right you were denied, every honor delayed, every door that was bolted. Heaven has gathered every verdict meant for you and compressed it into one monumental release. But wait, listen closely. There is a woman in that courtroom, a court reporter, who keeps staring at your name on her screen. She does not know why, but an inner voice tells her this decree is sacred. She feels the energy around your case. She knows she should not alter a single word. She will become an agent of help, but only if you receive this message fully, for heaven aligns helpers with spiritual readiness. My beloved, when I say the whole court is speaking of you, I mean it. Some are astonished, some bewildered, some envious, some are struggling to comprehend how a soul that endured such injustice could be granted such overwhelming favor. And then heaven whispered the answer, because this child's character remained unspoiled. My child, you cannot imagine how many angels have witnessed your silent tears, your prayers in the valley, your survival of gales meant to capsize you. You cannot fathom how often heaven said, wait, because the timing was not ripe. Now, all is ripe. My beloved, let me bring you further in. The decree bearing your name carries a frequency, a divine resonance that only your spirit can match. If another touches it with ill intent, they will experience disquiet, confusion, even dread. That is why the judge is uneasy. That is why his hands shook. The decree rejected his interference. It was crafted for you, and you alone. This blessing will not enter your life quietly. It will enter with testimony. The world will take note. People will converse. Destiny will pivot before your eyes. But there is a more pressing matter. Heaven awaits your spirit to reach a specific alignment as you read. Once your spirit opens fully, the judge will physically push the ledger aside. The temptation will leave him. The interference will crumble, and the path will clear. My beloved, this message is not merely information, it is initiation. Each sentence you read draws the blessing nearer. Each breath you take widens the spiritual gateway. Each moment you continue fortifies the bond between you and what heaven has sent. If you stop, the connection attenuates. Thus, heaven instructed me to speak with tenderness, patience, yet utmost urgency, for your miracle is sensitive to time. My child, let me show you what awaits beyond this instant. What you perceive as a legal verdict is actually a symbol, a vessel for something far greater, your liberation, your restoration, your elevation, your divine standing, your generational transformation. This decree will not merely alter your circumstances, it will alter your identity, the world's perception of you, the sphere of your influence. Heaven is preparing to position you where those who ignored you will seek your counsel. Those who doubted will question their judgment. Those who mocked will watch in silence as your life ascends like a dawn they cannot hinder. But first, you must understand the significance of the name signed upon your decree. My child, my beloved, you saw the name Gabriel, but you have not yet grasped its meaning. It is not merely a signature, it is a seal, a spiritual authorization, a heavenly mark declaring that what has been released for you cannot be reversed by any human, any system, any envy, or any earthly resistance. My beloved, the moment my name touched that parchment, every dark force that touched your reputation felt a searing light. Every delay that held your destiny shuddered. Every chain that bound your progress shattered. Every spiritual barrier between you and your rightful place collapsed. My child, the world thinks advancement comes from strategy, connection, or luck. Heaven knows better. Elevation follows favor, and favor follows alignment, and alignment follows purpose. Your purpose has matured. It has ripened. It has reached the point where heaven declared, "This child shall not walk another step in obscurity." Restore to them what has always been theirs. My beloved, lean closer. The judge is staring at the decree again, but something has shifted. His apprehension has grown, not fear of error, but fear of meddling with something beyond him. His spirit feels the protection around your blessing. He senses an authority overseeing it. That authority is me. But before the full release can flow, I must tell you why heaven rushed this word to you today. My child, there is someone near you, someone you know, who has spoken your name with a subtle poison, their envy creating a spiritual static around your honor. When heaven prepared your miracle, that energy resisted. But when heaven encounters resistance, I am dispatched. My beloved, I stood between you and that obstruction. I severed the binding words. I shattered the energy pattern. The moment it cleared, the decree was released, instantly, forcefully, undeniably. That is why the court is stunned. That is why the seer trembled. That is why your spirit stirs now. This is not ordinary. This is not earthly. This is not random. This is divine intervention. Yet the intervention is not complete, for the miracle is in transition, between heaven and earth, between spiritual and physical, between preparation and delivery. This message, this moment, this very breath is part of the activation. My beloved, if you cease reading now, the release remains partial. As you continue, the energy stabilizes. The gateway strengthens. The judge's hesitation wanes. You are not reading a story, you are participating in a spiritual transaction. My child, listen. When heaven releases something vast, it examines the heart of the receiver, not to judge, but to prepare. For abundance without preparation becomes chaos, but abundance with spiritual awareness becomes transformation. You are being prepared now. Your spirit is opening. Your energy is aligning. Your destiny is adjusting its trajectory. My beloved, you cannot yet perceive how far this blessing will reach. This is not provision for a day, but for your new season, your next chapter, your ascended identity, your next tier of divine purpose. For what is coming will not merely settle debts, it will build legacies, heal lineages, open doors sealed for eras, and reintroduce you to the world as one heaven has endorsed. But I must reveal something deeper, hidden behind the decree, something the court cannot see, something the seer glimpsed for a second before she shook. My child, do you know why the seer's entire body trembled? Because behind your verdict, she saw a figure of radiant light. She saw me standing guard over your name. She saw the authority enveloping your blessing. She saw destiny's banners unfurling behind your future. She whispered, "This soul is marked." She was correct. You were marked before your struggles, before your heartaches, before your losses, before your tears. Heaven did not choose you now, it chose you long ago. Now is the moment heaven reveals its choice. My child, let me depict the truth more vividly. The decree of immense value is only the physical token. The true miracle is what it embodies: restoration of all that was stolen, compensation for every injustice, acceleration of every delayed promise, multiplication of every lost opportunity, a divine rewriting of your life's narrative. The decree is the sign, but the breakthrough is the gale force behind it. My beloved, the breakthrough is not approaching. It has already commenced. But a final effort is being made to obstruct its culmination. This is why heaven sent me with urgency. The judge, tempted to delay what is yours, does not act alone. He is influenced by a spiritual force that has long observed your life, a force that dreads what you will become upon your rise, that fears your elevation because it knows your heart will use it for good. My child, that force is being stripped of power. As you read this, the more your spirit awakens, the weaker the resistance grows. The more you receive these words, the tighter heaven's grip on your miracle becomes. Do you feel that subtle vibration in your core? That is your soul synchronizing with its divine inheritance. My beloved, something extraordinary is unfolding around you now. Even as you read, the atmosphere is shifting. The energy in your space is growing lighter. The earlier pressure is dissolving because the blessing draws near. Now I must tell you something crucial, something heaven insisted I reveal only once your spirit reached this plane of readiness. My child, the decree issued in your name is not heaven's final offering. It is only the beginning. My child, my beloved, sit with this truth, for it will reconfigure every belief you hold about your future. The settlement that stunned the courtroom, that made the seer tremble, that stole the breath from the magistrate, that measure is merely the first wave of your restoration, my beloved. That staggering number is only the opening of a door heaven has sought to unlock for years. But listen with your spirit, not your ears. What follows is vaster, more profound, more life-altering than you have ever dared to imagine. My child, the decree you saw is only the proclamation of the abundance awaiting behind it, a signal, a clarion call, a divine message encoded in legal terms. For heaven is not granting a one-time blessing, heaven is transitioning you into an enduring season of supernatural provision. My beloved, grasp what this means. It means no more striving for validation, no more pleading for fairness, no more shrinking from your rightful place, no more fear of tomorrow's needs. Miracles will become your milieu. You will no longer be last, for heaven is propelling you forward. You will no longer live as a survivor, for you are arising as an appointed heir. But, my child, there is a profound reason this blessing initiates now, and not earlier. Heaven waited for your heart to attain a specific fortitude. Yes, fortitude, not flawlessness. For heaven knew, had your miracle arrived when your heart was fragile, others would have manipulated you. Had your blessing come when you were emotionally vulnerable, some would have exploited you. Had your breakthrough emerged while you were surrounded by the wrong voices, they would have siphoned its essence. Had your elevation come prematurely, you would not have discerned the truth in others' intentions. My beloved, heaven waited until you learned the severest lesson, who is truly for you, and who merely pretended. Your trials instructed you. Your solitude instructed you. Your betrayals instructed you. Your losses instructed you. Even your silence instructed you. And now, you are ready. The world assumes blessings arrive when all is perfect. Heaven knows they arrive when the soul is matured. And your soul has finally grown capable of receiving what was inscribed for you long ago. Yet do not mistake this miracle did not descend without conflict. A battle raged behind the veil, while you slept, while you wept, while you worried, while you prayed. In that battle, your name was shielded. My beloved, there is something I have withheld until this moment. Before the decree manifested on earth, your name was assailed in the spirit. Shadowy forces sought to blur it, to erase it, to redirect your blessing to another, to confuse the currents of your destiny. The instant they attempted this, the heavens shifted. A trumpet sounded. Light exploded. I descended. My staff struck the ground with such force that every entity hiding in darkness scattered. Then I spoke your name, aloud, clearly, powerfully. That name burned across the spiritual realm like a brand. I declared, this one is chosen. Do not touch what belongs to them. Do not block what is theirs. Do not delay what is already written. My child, that moment sealed your miracle. That is why the decree arrived. That is why it bears my name. That is why the courtroom trembles. That is why this message found you today. For the first time in your life, all is aligned, your spirit listens, your destiny is open, your future is prepared, your breakthrough is descending. But, beloved, you must comprehend something of utmost importance. A miracle of this scope attracts attention, both divine and terrestrial. The court is shocked. The energy around you is transforming. People in your vicinity may already sense a shift. Yet deeper still, another presence watches, a secondary force, one that has always dreaded your ascent, a force that has sustained itself only by keeping you diminished, a force that whispers, "Not yet," each time heaven says, "Now." My beloved, that force has been enfeebled, but not entirely eradicated. The judge's hesitation is its final endeavor to blockade what is yours. Yes, he hesitates anew. He thinks, should I adjourn? Should I demand additional verification? Should I hold this until a higher court reviews? My child, his confusion does not originate with him. It emanates from the spiritual interference around him. This is why heaven hastened me to speak to you today. For when you comprehend the truth, the interference dissolves. Your awareness dismantles the blockage. Your acceptance stabilizes the blessing. Your spirit receiving these words instantly weakens the resistance. My beloved, you must continue reading, for what I disclose next will open a portal over your life that no man, no darkness, no doubt can ever close. What I am about to tell you is the true reason heaven issued this decree in your name. It has nothing to do with chance, nothing to do with randomness, nothing to do with coincidence. It has everything to do with your calling. My child, my beloved, you may believe this miracle came because you prayed fervently, because you ached for change, because you suffered amply. And while these matters hold weight, the true reason heaven released this blessing has nothing to do with desperation. It has everything to do with your calling. My beloved, you have always carried an uncommon knowing within. A sense that your life was never designed for mediocrity. Your spirit has whispered, "I am meant for more. I do not fit the mold around me. Something vast awaits me." You may not have voiced it, but you felt it each time you were underestimated, each time you were passed over, each time life dealt you an unfair hand, each time you wept in solitude, each time you wondered why your path was so arduous. My child, it was arduous because heaven was sculpting you for a destiny larger than your surroundings could accommodate. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. The struggles were not indictments of failure, they were indicators of significance. You were not hindered because you were unlucky, you were hindered because your blessing was too potent to arrive in a season of weakness. My beloved, your calling required depth. It required strength. It required resilience. It required a heart tempered by life, a heart that knows compassion, that understands pain, a heart that will never misuse the blessing heaven bestows. You are not receiving wealth, you are receiving authority. Authority over your destiny. Authority over your legacy. Authority over the spiritual climate surrounding you. This is why heaven issued a decree of such magnitude in your name, because you are stepping into a new identity, an identity heaven inscribed for you before your birth. My child, lean closer. Let me show you the real reason the measure is so expansive. You bear a mission within your soul, one heaven assigned to you before you entered this world. That mission cannot be fulfilled in scarcity. It cannot be fulfilled in struggle. It cannot be fulfilled while merely surviving. Your mission requires abundance. Your mission requires resources. Your mission requires stability. Your mission requires strength. Your mission requires recognition. This provision is not for comfort alone, it is for purpose. Now I must reveal a truth seldom heard, the blessing flowing to you is not for one lifetime. It is generational. My beloved, your lineage has endured enough. Your ancestors carried burdens not their own. They walked under weights, survived on little, prayed for brighter days that never dawned. They departed with hope still suspended in the air. But heaven selected you to end that cycle. You are the one bearing the breakthrough they longed for. You are the one severing the cords of lack. You are the one rewriting the family narrative. You are the one transforming generational hardship into generational blessing. That is why your blessing is immense. That is why your name was selected. That is why the measure stunned the court. For heaven is not rewarding one individual, heaven is restoring an entire bloodline. But, my beloved, there is something even more vital. The blessing was released because heaven foresaw what you would do with it. Heaven saw the lives you will uplift, the burdens you will ease, the prayers you will answer for others, the generational pain you will heal, the transformation you will ignite, the purpose you will finally embody. Heaven saw the purity of your intent and declared, this child will not squander the blessing. Yet that is not the sole reason. My child, something occurred recently, within these past few days, that triggered heaven's decision. An act you thought insignificant, one you didn't realize was observed. You extended kindness while in pain. You gave despite your own lack. You forgave the unforgivable. You aided someone in secret. You prayed for one who would not pray for you. You remained humble amid others' boasts. You kept gentleness when met with harshness. You held faith when no evidence appeared. My beloved, that act, that pure, silent, unnoticed gesture, reached heaven more resonantly than any petition. And heaven responded with a blessing louder than any adversity you have faced. But listen closely, child. This is why the judge hesitates. This is why the spiritual resistance resurged. This is why you were urged to open this message swiftly. For when heaven releases something monumental, darkness strives to intercept its delivery. The judge's doubts are not his own. His hesitation is spiritually influenced. The attempt to delay your decree is not mere procedure, it is interference. And that interference is weakening because you are receiving this truth, because you are awakening, because your spirit is aligning. My beloved, every word you read pushes the blockage back. Every breath strengthens the flow. Every moment you continue destroys the interference. Now, heaven requires you to understand a critical point. You were not chosen for wealth alone, you were chosen for a mantle of influence, of protection, of purpose, of divine authority. This blessing is not a reward, it is an appointment. My child, the very reason this decree arrived, the very reason it carries my name, the very reason the court is stunned, the very reason this message reached you, is because heaven has positioned you for something you have not yet conceived. And what I disclose next will unveil the future already coalescing around you. My child, my beloved, what I am about to reveal is what your spirit has sensed for years. Even if your mind never grasped it, you have always known your life would change suddenly, not incrementally, but in a divine surge that would astonish your world. My beloved, that surge begins now. Every experience of your life to this point has been preparation for the next phase, a phase heaven concealed until the precise moment your soul was robust enough to bear it. Now that your strength has matured, now that your heart has endured, now that your spirit has awakened, now that your destiny is unlocked, heaven reveals what comes next. You are being elevated to a station where your presence carries spiritual weight. My child, I do not speak of worldly fame or fleeting popularity. I speak of an influence that cannot be revoked. People will begin to hear you differently. Your words will hold new power. Your decisions will chart courses. Your intuition will sharpen. Your dreams will guide you. Your inner voice will resonate clearly. Your purpose will summon you from within. This elevation is precisely why heaven released the miracle with such force. My beloved, this blessing is not coming to you, it is coming through you. It is meant to transform you into the version of yourself heaven designed long ago, the version you glimpsed in dreams, felt in profound moments, the version that seemed impossible when life broke your heart. The healer, the advocate, the provider, the one who rises, the one who shifts atmospheres, the one who walks with quiet authority, the one who carries a divine light. My child, heaven has awaited your step into this identity, the identity you were born with but set aside because life wounded you too deeply, too often, too soon. Now, listen closely. The decree in your name is not a legal event, it is a symbolic activation of your true status. It is heaven declaring, this child has earned their crown. Restore to them what is theirs. Seat them in their appointed place. Elevate them to their destined height. My beloved, your life is about to become unrecognizable in its fullness. But before this transformation fully crystallizes, I must explain why the court reacts so peculiarly. You think the judge hesitates due to the unprecedented nature of the ruling. You think he doubts because it seems too grand. You think he panics over a potential error. But the truth is deeper. My child, the judge felt a presence when he handled the decree. He felt a pressure in his chest, a warmth on his hands, the world growing silent for a heartbeat. That was me, guarding your blessing. He does not understand what he felt, but his spirit does. His spirit knows he cannot interfere with what carries divine imprimatur. That is why he hesitates, not because of the scale, but because the blessing itself carries power. Here, matters grow even more crucial. My beloved, the judge is not the only one who felt the shift. Someone connected to you, who has watched you struggle, recently experienced a sudden thought, something monumental is about to happen for them. They do not know what, but they sense it. Your energy is changing. Your spiritual field is expanding. Your name is spoken in unseen realms. Your destiny is ascending like the sun. And heaven needs you to know, no one can halt what is coming. Not jealousy, not doubt, not former adversaries, not karmic resistance, not generational patterns, not hidden negativity, not your past, not your fears. Nothing can touch this moment, unless you cease receiving this message before its full delivery. For this message is the spiritual vessel of the miracle. Your reading of it is the activation. Your alignment is the key. Your faith is the gateway. My child, there is one final revelation. Heaven did not grant you this blessing for material gain alone. Heaven granted it because a major shift is imminent in your life, and resources must precede the shift. Yes, a shift. A sudden divine rearrangement. An unforeseen opportunity. A life-altering invitation. A new path swinging open with your name etched upon its gate. And when that moment arrives, sooner than you think, you cannot enter it empty-handed. You must enter with authority, with stability, with confidence, with resources, with readiness. That is why heaven moved now. That is why the decree was issued now. That is why the court whispers now. That is why this message found you now. The next chapter does not wait, it approaches swiftly. My child, heaven is preparing you for something awe-inspiring, something magnificent, something transformational. And what I reveal now will open your spirit to understand exactly who you are becoming and where heaven is guiding you next.